Hello and welcome to the next part of our tutorial on making our mech. So we have several pieces completed, and in this section here we're going to add additional detail to the legs. I'm going to place a circular kind of piston in here and here, and do a joint at the foot. So let's start by going into edit mode, vertex select, selecting all these, Shift S, cursor to selected, and let me just turn on my keys. And what I want to do here is I want to add in a new object. So I'm going to add in a circle and make sure it has 12 vertices. I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis by 90 degrees and scale it in. Okay. We're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to move it on X, extrude it also on X until it goes in. Now if we move it too far, it'll come out here, so just make sure the geometry stays well inside. This won't actually move in the animation, it'll just be something for things to pivot around. Now we are going to add an arm to this mech, so it has maybe a gun or some other item over here. So we're going to rest that X additional piece on this arm here. So we're just doing some small additions. Again, it's all done by hand. There's no particular distance that it should be. Now we're going to try and use the mirror modifier to duplicate that on this side. So how we do that is we'll take this item here, and we know that its origin is in the middle. Shift S, cursor to selected. Select this item, and we want to move its origin to here. And we do that by going Object, Transfer, or Transform Origin to 3D Cursor. So now the origin of this item is here. So when we do a mirror modifier on the Z-axis, another one will appear over here. So mirror modifier on Z. Okay. So we have piston number 1 put in. Now we're going to edit this slightly. So I'm going to select all these vertices. I want to move them in this direction, so I can go G, Y, Y. Move that to there. And I'll do the same on this side here. And I want to move these down, which is G, X, X. Okay. And do the same at the bottom here. And then I'm going to rotate these 45 degrees and place them there. And we may end up actually, well, let's just do this now. Let's just delete these. And oops. We'll leave that there. We may have to amend that in a few minutes. So we're going to take this here and go into edit mode. Now we could duplicate this and bring it down here, but that would prove problematic. So we are going to again use the cursor to move things. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to duplicate it, Shift D, and then I want to move it down here. So in GZ, whoops, sorry, G place it here. Okay, now let's see how well it's positioned. So G on the x-axis, we'll move it in. Now this one we don't need our additional piece, so we can bring that right in. And what I'm going to do here is create a small piece of, I suppose, what you call armor. It's important that this is larger than this geometry here. And these are just for aesthetic reasons. These rises now. Face select. And extrude them out. And then we're going to take these and extrude them across as if they're protecting the joint. Then we're going to take this on this, rotate them 45 degrees, and then extrude them this way. So this whole piece will move with the leg. We can add some additional details. We'll be kind of coming back and doing this sort of detailed work on the rest of the ship in a different tutorial. We'll do the same here. Just more aesthetically pleasing. So what we also want is this part of the leg here. If we go to the cursor, to pivot around the cursor, and we want this to be able to move here unhindered to about that point there. So we don't want it to be able to over-articulate in that direction. And we'll put a constraint on the bone to stop it doing that. And then we'll want the rest of it to pivot around that point there. Okay, so let's make some sort of gun device. So I'm going to duplicate this, scale it on X, move it on X, and I'm going to separate it as a separate item. Oh, and I only have the front I didn't have, so I'm going to delete that and go again. So when I was making my selection here, I should have been in wireframe. So Shift D, scale on X, move on X, and separate by selection. So I don't want to be going from here, so I'm going to go from individual origins. I'm just going to scale this up, scale it on X. Okay. So our gun turret, etc., is going to hang off this. So let's add in a couple of loop cuts. Go back to face select. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we want to join these. So I'm going to do bridge edge loop, extrude it, scale it, okay. Now this looks simple enough, and from this we will add in a weapon or two. So we will add a circle, again it should be 12, rotate on X by 90 degrees. Oops. I need to be on vertex select mode for that to work. Okay. Okay, so these are just a series of extrusions. It's a different color to the rest because the normals are inverted, so select it all, Control N, and what I will do is hit the L key, which is select linked, Shift D to duplicate, move it on X, move it here, and because this on the side one, I'll scale it on Y. And this one, not back there. Okay. And just to improve the aesthetics of it, we'll take that, oops, that, drop it, and then do this. Okay. Okay, so we'll call this our cut. We'll call this pivots. Call this our knee. Okay, and make legs. Okay. So now what we want to do is make the foot and see what we can come up with to make it interesting. So in the same way we've got a hinge here, like a duplicate, let's go in and do that. So let's select that geometry and duplicate it, Shift D, GX, Shift D, GX. Okay, now I'm going to separate by selection and then just hide that. Now this is what we're interested in. So we want to first of all join these at the base. We'll bridge our edge loop to do that. We will extrude and scale this here. Now we need to Okay, so far so good. Now we can take this in a minute and move it down as sort of our axle. So now we want to figure out how the foot of this device works. So we're just making this up, so it doesn't have to be terribly realistic. So we'll give him a big toe. So we'll extrude this on the z-axis. And we will remove, actually we won't bother removing it, we'll extrude it, scale it. So what we'll do is try and create a kind of toe-like feature on the front. Okay, so we probably need to think of the bottom of an ATAS sort of walker and see if we can get something that more closely resembles that. So I'm going to hide this one. So this isn't going to work, this piece here. So oops, or minus 45 scale. It's going to work a bit better. You can rotate inside it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. We can leave that in there as a feature. And we will make a larger foot. Probably make these a little bit closer in a minute, but okay. And on this larger foot, we will have a kind of articulated joints if we can. Now, let's see how we're going to do that. Oops. So we'll fix the back of this in a minute. So we're going to concentrate on the front here. And what I want is not that guy. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take that. And delete the faces. some of this is just going to have to be done by hand. So extrude this up on Z, and then create a face there, and there, and one more face. Okay, so then we can loop cut this back. Then inside here we want to make like an articulated, like a toe that can kind of bend. And again we will use this guy for that. So we're going to go Shift D, G, move that down to there. Oops. And okay, so it's a simple hinge joint there, and then we will do the same here. And we're going to go to edit mode, select it all, scale it down, and scale it on X. And scale all that on X. And do the same over here. Just scale on X. And then we just need a toe type device. Now, this is not symmetrical because the center point isn't in the center. So move that there, select it all. I have to do the same with this one. So GX, put it in the center, GX in edit mode. Okay. Now we're getting there. So we need to put in a toe. Okay, so let's add a cube. Scale it down. So So that's not too bad. So we still have to add a counterweight up here, and then we have to add in lots of detail. But not looking bad. So we'll go File, Save, and work on the next bits in the next video.